You ever pull up to your own land and realize someone built a whole house on it, like you wouldn't notice? That was my Thursday, end of September. Windows down, boots still muddy from Oregon, air sharp like fresh cut cedar. I came around the bend near the old gravel access and hit the brakes so hard my coffee baptized the dashboard. Because right there, smack in the middle of my family's land, was a two-story skeleton wrapped in Tyvek, standing 30 feet past where it had any business existing. If you love powerful stories, you don't want to miss this. But before we continue, tell us where you're watching from. It honestly makes us happy to see how far these stories travel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Now let me tell you why my hands started shaking. Orange survey flags fluttered like they owned the place. Heavy equipment parked neat and confident. The kind of confidence only comes from thinking you've already won. And there it was, a banner flapping proudly. Lakeview Ridge HOA, amenity home, short-term guest stays. Amenity on my land. Now, if you're a reasonable person, you might think, bad survey, honest mistake, paperwork glitch. I wanted to believe that too, for exactly 12 seconds. This land's been in my family since 1952. 87 acres, Timber Creek. Hills my grandfather cleared by hand after pouring concrete all week just to afford the lumber. My dad never sold a single inch. When he passed, he left me the deed with a note. Don't let anyone take this from you. So I pulled out my phone, opened the county GIS, and there it was. My boundary line. Clear as daylight, and that shiny new HOA dream house sitting 20 feet inside my history. That's when the foreman walked over. Clipboard, neon vest, confidence for days. Can I help you? I smiled and said, yeah, you're building on my land. And that's when I learned how calm people get when they think paperwork can steal what muscle, memory, and blood once built. The foreman flipped through his clipboard like it might suddenly confess something different. Then he gave me that look, the one contractors reserve for stubborn rocks and people they plan to ignore. The HOA fixed the plat, he said. All permitted. Boundaries adjusted. Adjusted. Like land is a shirt you just let out a little. He handed me a card. Call Ron, HOA president. Big letters, big confidence, the kind that usually falls apart under sunlight. Back in my truck, I pulled county records, and there it was, bold as daylight. Corrected plat, Lakeview Ridge. Filed April 12th. Boundary shifted 30 feet onto my property. Reason listed, surveyor error correction. Sure. And squirrels file tax returns. It got better. There was an easement agreement too, signed by something called Mitchell Ridge Holdings LLC, granting the HOA permanent rights across my land. Problem was, I never made an LLC, never signed a thing, and the land's been in my name since Eisenhower was president. That night, I walked the fence lines with my phone flashlight, snapping photos, dropping GPS pins, touching the same posts my grandfather set decades ago. There's a special kind of anger that doesn't yell. It settles. Cold, patient. The kind that waits. Next morning, I was at the county recorder's office at opening bell. The clerk printed everything. Plat, easement, permits, all clean, all fake. We file what looks valid, she said, shaking her head. We're not detectives. At the assessor's office, they scrolled back 70 years. Same answer, same name, same land. That's when I called my attorney and said, they didn't make a mistake, they made a plan. And that's when things got interesting. Karen showed up Saturday morning with her survey truck humming like it had opinions. She didn't talk much, just nodded, checked coordinates, and started walking lines like she'd done this dance 100 times. Every old marker matched. Every fence post told the same story. When she finally looked up, she didn't soften it. No ambiguity, she said. That structure is between 22 and 38 feet inside your boundary. That corrected plat? Fiction. She handed me a USB and added, almost cheerfully, if this goes to court, I'll testify. Gladly. Monday, the demand letter went out. Remove the house in 14 days, or I would. No drama, just facts. 2 days later, the HOA president finally wanted to talk. Big clubhouse, long table, leather chairs, everyone sitting like confidence was a personality trait. They slid permits across the table like poker cards. I slid Karen's survey back like a winning hand. Silence. Then excuses. We trusted the developer. This is how these things usually get handled. You should have asked permission before escalating. I smiled. You should have asked permission before building a house. They threatened lawsuits. Deep pockets. Endless lawyers. I didn't blink. The judge denied our injunction, said it was civil and I had remedies. The HOA took that as a green light and built faster. betting I'd cave once the house looked too finished to touch. That's when we sent the final notice. 10 days. Tick. Tock. If you're enjoying this story, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps these stories reach more people. Day 11, 7 a.m. Alvarez and his demolition crew rolled in like karma on a schedule. Cameras running, every angle documented. No smashing, just careful, methodical deconstruction. Lumber stacked, fixtures tagged, nothing reckless, nothing emotional. At 10:23 a.m., Karen's favorite man, the HOA president, came screaming into the driveway like the universe owed him an apology. He shouted, threatened, called the police. The deputies showed up, reviewed the deed, the survey, the easement. One of them shrugged, civil dispute. Property owner has the right to remove trespass. And just like that, the wind went out of him. By 5:15 p.m., the land was bare again, like the house had never existed. I emailed the HOA the invoice, $14,200, due in 30 days. 3 days later, their lawsuit arrived. Destruction of property, emotional distress, neighbor trauma. My attorney laughed so hard he had to reread it. Discovery dragged on for months, and that's when the truth came out. Emails, internal messages, a quiet admission they knew the boundary was wrong. Creating the LLC was easier than asking permission. The judge didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. 12 pages later, it was over. The land was mine. The plat void, the easements fake, fees awarded, records corrected, the HOA paid. Karen resigned. I broke up the slab, donated the salvage, and sent one letter to the neighborhood. Boundaries marked, land private, respect it, and we'll get along fine. Some folks asked politely to use the creek trail. I said yes, in writing. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us. Have you ever had to stand your ground when someone tried to take what was yours?